Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Atomic Cast. It's Tom here today, and I'm joined by
Bert, hello.
Yay, Bert.
It's us again.
Woo! Yeah,
Good to be
buddy.
back.
At some point, I'll remember to schedule these at a time when other people can make it. Uh, but it is not this day. So as you can see, this is episode 23 of the Atomic Cast. Where you can see if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, where we now exist, you will not be able to see that. Um, what we're doing is we're doing Games Workshop's job for them. And today we're going to have a look at the MESBG Metawatch, January to April 2023. Um, if you didn't know, Games Workshop do I don't know how often it is, not gonna lie to you, but they put out an article called Metawatch for 40k and Age of Sigmar, um, wherein they look at the factions, the data from various match play events and things that have been recorded on I don't know where. I assume best coast pairings, um, and they kind of talk about their aims. So, um, yeah, what we've done is it's gone backwards. What we've done is we have pulled the data from longshanks.org. If you don't know, that's a website where many people are now hosting events and leagues and things. It does all the TO work for you. It's quite handy. Players got to submit their scores and things like that, so it's quite a useful tool to have. It also records all of those data points, all the armies that are being used, who won, who lost, what scenario, what points level, all of that jazz for you as well, which is quite nice. Um, what I've done is gone through there and found all of the factions with 40 plus games in kind of rated tournaments and things between January and the end of April, which is now. So the first kind of 4 months of the year, um, which I think should give us a decent reflection on where the game is right now. We haven't had a new book for a little while, so everything's kind of settled down after the initial kind of whoa bears, whoa we're sorting off and stuff, and we'll see how we get on. Um, in that period, it's been 2,000 rated games on Longshanks, and in general, we've got 300 at 500 points, about 200 at 600, about 200 at 650, about 200 at 750, and about 600 at 800 points, and a few at various other points levels. Uh, these are just the rated events. You can, of course, just record your casual games on there as well, so you can see your own stats of different armies and things, which is quite nice. But yeah, this is purely rated games. So yeah, that seems to be the 800 point meta is what we're going to get.
No, fantastic. It's just nice to see the stats for this kind of thing because there's always lots of chat about, oh my god, this army is so OP. And everyone will play like a couple of games against some list that they think is ridiculous. And now Tom and Bert get to talk actual numbers.
I love actual numbers.
I love actual
Yeah.
numbers too.
The amount of people who say like, "Oh, such and such an army is really strong," and you're like,
Is it?
"Is it though?" um, or is it strong where you play because people are playing in funny things, or is it a decent army to pick up and use it the first few times, but someone knows how to beat it, it's actually a bit poo poo. Um, so yeah, when they do their Metawatch articles, Games Workshop, they aim to have all the win percentages between 45 and 55%. So that gives you kind of a nice little window. Anything, everything should kind of win half their games. It should be balanced. Now we all know from the outside looking in that 40k is unbalanced, and if you don't do this, then 40k bad. Um, it's been a lot more even recently, and they're getting there. Every now and again, they mess something up, but um, what they're doing now is if something's getting kind of 60, 70%, they're changing a couple of things and seeing if that brings them back down. And if something's getting 30%, they're making them a little bit stronger and seeing if that brings them back up. So they are working on it. They're doing lots of little often changes. So yeah,
It
we
actually is.
thought
It actually is quite impressive that 55% is the threshold for something being a little bit too strong. Um, and also makes it even clearer that when you see certain players with monstrous win rates like 75, 80%, it really does show that in SBG, it is super hard to just pick up a list with a
Got a
monstrous
little
win rate.
part of my stack watch for you.
And it really is mostly the player and the
Yeah,
cannon lil. And the cannon lil just get you through.
little kind of little. Yeah. Ooh, tastes like summer. Um, so
I'm enjoying a plate of gin and tonic while we're doing this.
ooh,
I'm
nice.
very relaxing evening.
What I'm interested in, but is I know you've seen this a little bit, so it's a little bit wrong. But also anyone who's kind of watching this along, chuck in the comments quickly. And don't cheat. What our predictions are, who's got the highest win percentage across all of these armies, who's got the lowest win percentage across all of these armies. Like rattle some off if you want. Like give me a what is obviously broken,
Oh
and
man,
what is
it feels like it's the obvious that we talked about here quite a bit. So I genuinely have barely looked ahead in anticipation of surprise. So I'm going to go Assault on Loth, Bears, as much as we despise them, Dragon Emperor. Those are the big three. Maybe Assault on Helm's Deep, potentially. Was I was kind of taking a dump on it earlier on this year, so I think but may just have been wrong. Um, and other than that, I'm open. I'm open for surprises. Occasionally you get some very good players just choosing some different lists, and that can affect it. But yeah, I think I'll go with the usual suspects for now.
well, that's why
But
I've tried to say 40 plus games, because if you look at it, you'll get things like Men of the West has managed to lock in on an 83% win rate, but it's only been used at one event.
Alex Richardson, you hero.
Yeah, he did blindingly, bless him. But yeah, there's a few up here that's going to be quite fun. So let's have a look then. Bam, data. Right.
Well, I missed.
Gonna,
I managed to miss the top three.
no, you didn't. You missed. You. Oh yeah, you missed them. Yeah, sorry. I thought you said you
Yeah.
listed them. Okay. I'm going to rattle these off rapid fire. If you're looking at this, it doesn't start at 0. It starts at 30. So don't panic if you look at the bottom of the list. But let me just take a nice big swig of water.
I believe in you.
So we've got Army of Lake Town, 72%, Fell Being, 69, Farharad, 66, Dragon Emperor, 63, Helm's Deep Assault, 62, Erebor Acclaim, 62, Beornings, 59, Goblin Town, 59, Assault on Lothlorien, 58, Serpent Horde, 57, Defenders of Helm's Deep, 57. So they're all of your ones that are above that threshold. Riders of Fairlem, 54, Angmar, 52, Cannon, 52, Shire, 52, Corsairs, 52, Lothlorien, 52, Hunter Orcs, 52, Easterlings, 51, Numenor of Harry Parkhill fame, 50, Bulls of Thranduil, 50, Warrior, 50. That's Moria Goblins. Ugluk Scouts, 49, Mordor, 48, Rivendell, 47, Minister, 46, Rohan and Fellowship, both at 45. Then we drop down to Army of Thor at 42, Return of the King at 42, Iron Hills 41, Isengard 41, Azog's Legion 41, Fiefdoms 40, Khazad-dûm 38, and the Dead of Dunharrow at 35. Bam. Now, there are obviously a few things missing from this. Things like Survivors of Lake Town just didn't get enough plays.
Arnold?
Arnor is not used enough.
Yeah.
It has only been played 27 times. Does carry a 91% win rate in those 27 games. It has lost once.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. But, you know, didn't make the data cut. So, sods, it's clearly fine. Imagine if Arnold had models, man. Whew.
Oh, don't even joke.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, anything that immediately jumps out as like a shock. What's
I think
categories?
given our points band of 5 to 800, um, I wasn't expecting to see Army of Lake Town that high, and I think that gives away that Army of Lake Town soup lists are a thing. So I don't think anyone's running pure Lake Town at 800 points. I'd love it if they did, but I
Well, that
don't
is a
think they are.
challenge I'm into.
Please do.
Um, so if I click onto the Army of Lake Town here, what we're looking at, yeah, 4, 8, 25, 35, 40, 46, 53, 59 games.
Okay.
That they have played as a soupy soup. Um, and where is their total games? Sorry, I know this is
No, no, sorry.
enthralling chat.
While Tom was finding this, by soup lists, we looked at this for some of the ETC lists. So you get a lot of like late time class Valorians, getting Galantis with blinding lights. You've seen JH Aria took a late time list with Kid and Glorfindel and Legolas thrown in for reasons. I know Yakov taken it recently with Gwai here thrown in as well. Um, so to qualify for this list, it's any number of games where the list is part of an allied contingent. So I think we'll see Erebor reclaimed um, as an allied contingent as well. Um, and
Ah, it's throwing me off because some of them are super soups. I was like, hang on, there's more games played than there is
Super
there's more
Soups.
factions. Yeah, super soups. But basically it's got a 99 it's got a 100% win rate with Rivendell as ally and an 88% with Foreign's Company as allies and a 80% with Friendly Halls and a 60% with White Council. So yeah.
Okay.
And then also some Erebor claim being thrown in about 50%.
Um, yeah. So what that list can do. Seeing Farharad.
Yeah.
Hang on. Actually, what's really insane is how we have 40 plus games with Farharad. We don't have 40 games with Harad
Oh, you do it
or
Serpent Horde
Serpent Horde.
under Assault and Off, yeah.
There we go.
So
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna say this that.
Farharad
Yeah.
has 98 games. Bear in mind, Lake Town has 40. Um, the
When did
Serpent Horde has 204 in this time period.
that's nuts? I wasn't ready for it to be that popular. That's bananas. What's that like? ten
Yeah,
percent of the, that's what like 10% of the games that we've looked at.
10% of the data is Serpent Horde, yeah.
That is mental. Does everyone just have? Am I the only one without camels?
Well, Serpent Horde is regular Harrod, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. What's getting played more? Dragon Emperor, Bears, or Assault and Off?
Okay, this is a fun one. I like okay, Assault on Loft. I reckon most people have Assault on Loft, and they just bought them as good, and then they were good to go. So purely because the Dragon Emperor is an expensive model, and yeah, screw it. Bears are the most popular.
Yes. Bears have
Yes, go.
184 games, so only a few less than the Serpent Horde to do.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's
Assault on Loft 158.
yeah,
Dragon Emperor 92.
yeah, that feels about right.
Yeah.
Bears are just such an easy army to create, and for most of these points levels, this is what like 20 models max or something silly.
Also, if you've played a couple of games and want to go to an event and you've been doing okay at some games and you want to suddenly start doing well, grab a Bears army because it's well easy to pilot.
I feel like bears are the equivalent of if you're looking to get into like a trading card game like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like buying 3 structure decks and you're like 95% of the way there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the army just it will work for you. You don't need to buy that many more. You don't need to do that much painting.
We
Um,
we need to get Lee back out on the scene more because Army of Thor at 42% would devastate him.
yeah, I thought he would have got in enough games before the hiatus.
No, because well, it's locked off in January, doesn't it? And yeah,
Oh,
but I mean, he's won at many events with Army of Raw. I've won events with fiefdoms, to be fair, but that was a little while ago. That was before the Legendary Legions became so mentally everywhere. But yeah, so what I've done is I've truncated it a little bit to make it a little bit easy to work with. So this is just the factions that it reckons are balanced, easy, ready to go. So we've got Rider the Fed on 54, the top end of balanced, which I think is fair.
I
They're
think so.
they're
Yeah,
strong, yes, but you can counter them pretty easily.
it's not that it's like Rider Fed and with the wizard running around. Like we kind of know what they do. They're very efficient, lots of might, decent troops. I think it's actually amazing that's been around what like 3 4 years now.
It's pre-COVID, I think,
Pre-COVID, okay, and it's still kicking about. It's
the
never a
before
bad choice.
times.
Yeah, it's never been a bad choice to take to events
The Angmar down at 52, that's probably news to people.
since Scott's retirement.
It's
Probably hasn't
it's
helped that.
yeah. I think it's another one that suffers. Well, I think it suffers from being quite easy to pick up in terms of the models. If you buy the model Battle Host, you've got an Angmar army pretty much.
Yeah, I was gonna say that battle host is pure,
Uh,
is brilliant, right?
it is an Angmar Battle Host. And then if you, all you need to do is add in some Spectres and Shades, Spectres and Barrow Whites, and they're in stock on Games Workshop now. So yeah, it's great. Canned and Shire, like they're just
That I mean, the Shy surprises me less because it's kind of one of those like swing lists where you kind of know what scenarios it's going to be good at. So in a way, it kind of makes sense to me that it's basically a 50-50 split. Because there's some scenarios it's just really, really, really going to struggle, and others where it's going to do really, really, really well. So yeah, Shy makes sense to me. What's the sample size on Khan?
Robin C. And you should have had this open. I'm a good boy. 68.
Okay, again, that's more
More
than I
more
thought.
Candish games than Lake Town.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the first surprises for me. Um, I guess one of the again, it's one of the things where I've only played it once, and like the chariot just hit my lines, rolled a 2 and a 3 to wound, and and then they stopped. So I've never really seen the list in full swing.
We've got Corsairs, Lothlorien, and Azog Hunters, which are all things that we know are good.
Yes,
I
I,
think I thought they were all slightly better than this, but then I don't know.
I mean, I feel like a couple of years back, I feel like Harad Corsairs was the more traditional knight, and everyone appears to be going into Serpent Horde for Harad now.
Camels weren't around. This is the other thing that camels are available now, and they haven't been available for such a long time. Um,
Yeah, I still thought Corsairs would be higher there. Actually, I thought Azog's Hunters would be a lot higher than this, given the points range they were looking at. Because things like the GP was 600 points, wasn't it? And
yes,
Jake won that with at pure Azog's Hunters, just a hunter orc spam.
the other thing
Um,
to put a little asterisk by this all is obviously it's only events that were actually ran on Longshanks that we've got access to. So
yeah,
the GP wasn't all on Longshanks.
day
Um,
day one was, I think.
no, the first round was. Then they broke it because he tried to do something with it. It's not how it worked. He knows it was user error. And then day two was.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all on this list that so we've had one of our lovely local lads win an event with Hunter Rocks recently as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought Hunters would
And
be higher up.
and also one comes second bottom, you know. Eastlings, I reckon a lot of this is people putting in the Dragon Emperor wrong. Um,
uh,
personally.
or well, I still think there's
Or
enough
allying
people
it.
but Eastlings Mordor is still a thing
Yeah.
that's kicking around. Also people who want to throw Amber or Kamal in as well, if you really want to
Um
do that.
Numenor is better than Rivendell, according to this factually
Um,
accurate statement. It says so right here.
I think
Numenor's
there's.
50,
I
Rivendell
mean,
47.
there's there's Rivendell and there's Rivendell. Um, as in, I think there's Rivendell where it's Elrond and a whole bunch of Rivendell knights with a wizard thrown in, which certain very top table players are prone to doing. And then there's kind of the fun Rivendell, maybe as allies thrown in, where you get your kid down and a bunch of foot guys and maybe a knight or two. And I'd say by and large, that's a less threatening build. Any heroics lads at me. But I don't, yeah, I think
I thought they were banned from putting elves on their channel now. The comment
uh,
section said so.
the most recent video had Field Lads back on the table.
Yay!
Yay.
Throw in
Um,
a bit where it belongs.
yeah, so I think basic foot Rivendell, I think is getting outclassed by other things.
I think elves in general maybe were really good in the Magic era when we had like when Angmar and Black Riders and things were the super threats. The elves seemed to counter it quite nicely, but now that kind of thing has died off a little bit. Um, and there's a lot of D6, D7 kicking around. I think they may be struggling a little bit, but we'll see because it's so because you think the fight five does count as the meta well, but they seem to be not. So who knows? Halls of Randall is also there. That's what I was talking about. 50%. Moria is just it's all right in it.
That's yes, right.
Again, I
um,
think a lot of people use it with like fun builds quite a lot as well, where they chuck in a couple of monsters and have a nice time. Um, it can be if you really optimize it, really good. But
I think it's one of those things where but if you start optimizing it, like once I get to a load of goblins, a load of prowlers, it's then really hard not to take advantage of Depths of Warrior Legion, Assault on Loth Legion. Um, I personally really like the idea of just running pure ass basic warrior, just like Durbos, Groblog, Drum, loads and loads and loads of lads, and just seeing how it goes. It could be terrible, but I quite like the idea of it with like a cave drake thrown in or something like that. But I think there's just so there's enough like fairly cheap fight for floating around where if you do build this warrior, you go, yeah, 60 lads, and somebody else goes, cool, I've got 43, and it's still a really it's my troops is better than yours. Um, but I'd like to see it do better.
Scouts is down here as well. At 49 in the perfectly balanced section. Again, I think there's just things that they struggle with, like they're not keen on the contests and things of the world, but they're and there's matchups that will just they die hard to fight to strength free shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Ministry of Mordor, both very common, and Rohan basicness, all very common like beginner armies. I think we
How many games of basic Rohan were there?
I
I
imagine
want I
as
want
a
to know how
wild guess that an awful lot of them are allied with stuff. 144.
of basic Rohan. Someone who people who looked at all the legions went, nah, there's not really one there for me.
50 of which are allied with Lothlorien.
And that's still another 45% win rate.
Yes, because that's 43% win rate. It's very hand off.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so the Rohan Loth is worse than basic Rohan?
Uh, well,
It's
it's
what?
also hampered by yeah, Rohan and Iron Hills as a combination.
Okay.
Rohan Minas Tirith is on here as well at 24 games.
Okay.
So yes, 80 about 80, 90 games of those are allied with it something. Um, so but over half.
Wait, so Rohan Lothlorien has a 43% win rate.
Yes,
But if there's a legendary legion where you get that alliance, it's better.
you
That's
could
nice
say
to
that,
hear.
yes.
That's nice to hear.
Well, let's take a look down into the need some help section, shall we? So these
Definitely.
are all your boys that kind of. Well, I'll tell you what. Before I do, let's go back up here a second. If anyone was curious, in this band as well, but didn't have enough armies, enough games represented, the Breaking of the Fellowship, um, the Defenders of Erebor Legion, Blackgate Opens Legion, Barad-dûr, Survivors of Lake Town was at 54%.
That
Um,
surprises me.
yeah. Um, yeah, just a whole bunch of other stuff was in that little group. Fangorn, uh,
If
Vanquishes and Necromancer.
swing lists,
Yeah,
there's a
basically all
lot
the
of
stuff
swing
that
lists.
sometimes good, sometimes bad. Um, and then down here, Army of Thor, 42. I've missed off the fiefdoms on this. Oh, no, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right then. Return the King, Iron Heels, Isengard, Azul's Legion, Khazad-dûm, Dead of Dunharrow. Again, Dead of Dunharrow, just make it Return the King and it jumps up 7%. Uh,
Fiefdoms was so there's actually there's a lovely series of videos on the Zorp channel where I think one of the really good Aussie players wins one of their competitive events with Fiefdoms, but it was
Arda
3 or 4.
Unleashed.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. He
Um,
beats Jacob from Conquest Creations in the final. He
yes,
was using Moria on
a
Fog of War.
Moria with the Balrog. Yeah,
Moria with Balrog, yeah.
yeah. So I think Fiefdoms. Again, you look at the buffs. The buffs are really good. The access to fight five is really good. The big banner is great, and the numbers are always something that I forget about. But I think it's that thing of so many of their troops in defense five.
The
Um,
the fiefdoms were a legendary legion before legendary legions existed and have now been slightly outshone by the new stuff. They were a really good army.
I would actually love. I keep looking at it and just going, it'd be really funny to run like something like Fiefdoms Gondor Alliance against something like the Dragon Emperor, where you can get like fight 7 boss, fight 6 Imra Hill, and then you get like fight 6 captains and like to Minas Tirith that would just destroy these Sling Shield War. I quite like to see that happen. Um, but again, you're kind of tailoring advantages in the Fiefdoms list for certain matchups. I think it'll struggle to get above that 55% win rate against a lot of the other stuff that's out there.
Um, Khazad-dûm, we actually had a good chat about this recently in our own local chat about you know what we could give it to kind of help it out a bit. Um, some of the discussion was around could you give Vault Wardens some form of like innate heroic defense type ability, or just a neg 1 to wound because there's so much +1 to wound, +2 to wound. You get problems like +3 to wound, like, and they're gonna get it against these guys every time because they're gonna be surrounded. Um, once you're through the little shield wall, like
It,
there's only so much hiding behind a big shield you can do at that point.
there's actually, I mean, this may sound really patronizing. I'm actually almost impressed that it's at a 38% win rate.
The incidents.
No, I'm absolutely serious. Like, if I took Khazad-dûm to an event, and I actually managed to look at like a GBH 100 or whatever, and I managed to win 2 games. Like winning 3 games with Khazad-dûm, given what's out there at the moment, that's awesome. Like you've got to really battle to get that. That's really cool. And it is things like why does some of the other lists get massive banners and dwarves are there with like we have no spears, we take forever to get places. Please, please God, give us just give them the big banner. Um, just something to make the army that bit more efficient. If they could be turned into like a fiefdoms esque quasi horde, and they're that tough, that would be fantastic. I'd
Yeah,
really, really, really love to see that. But when you're there going, it's 800 points. I have 40 models. You have 40 models, and yours are better.
give them
And
some
you,
6-inch banners on heroes or something. Go on.
I agree.
All half guard should get banner rerolls within 6 inches of Druid or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something fun like that. They need it.
Yeah, and
Um,
I don't think no one will be upset by this. No,
yeah,
no, no one will go, "Oh my god, so OP." They'd go, "Yeah, dwarves are back," because like they're gorgeous models, and like
yeah.
there was some they're cool models, and there were some beautiful Casa Doom armies floating around that often just hang out in people's cases and display cases because they're just going all the way to a big event with Casa Doom dwarves. It feels like you're shooting yourself in the foot before you even started.
Army of Fraud being down there makes me so sad. Um, it's
Um,
just
Isengard, to be honest, Isengard at 41% surprises me as well for like pure Isengard. Because
there's there's 175 games have been played with Pure Isengard. Blimey heck, what are you lads
who
doing?
who who is doing this? Because I keep trying to like run there was one event of the year where I run pure Isengard, and that's Lord of the Imps, where day two I bored into Assault.
I
But
think it's another one that you can assume if someone's playing Pure Isengard, they're probably also a bit new.
yeah, and that's why the 41% is actually really quite impressive.
All right, okay.
No, so I mean I'm entirely serious because I keep trying to write lists of pure Isengard, and
Well, it's
you know,
obviously it's buffed up by some Mordor Isengard alliances and things, which have quite a good win rate.
okay,
Um, but yeah, um, and yeah, just the two dwarfs and a big the army of Fraud Iron Hills being this far down surprised me a bit. Um, in
I
terms of things that don't have enough games, Path to the Druidan is down here. It's not as good as it looks on. It's fun. It's not very good. Um, Foreign's Company, the
yeah,
Rangers, Pits of Dol Guldur.
really
Pits of Dol Guldur is the one, two, three, four, five, sixth worst list out of every single faction on this.
I wasn't ready for that.
The
I just
single
how is that? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, maybe the end results, but I don't understand how auto priority free heroic combat Azog with a decent sized army behind him is bad, like
so
ever.
it's got like a poor win rate on assassination. Who's lost a game of contest with Pits? Um, Domination, it's getting spanked on. To be fair, I played it once this year and slapped it with Goblin Town. So, um, yeah.
It could be one of those lists where you just see Azog and go, "Oh my god, this list is so good, it's terrifying," and then you deal with Azog and you go, "Oh no, it's fine."
Well, it's D5 Azog, isn't it? Like if it runs towards your Defenders of Helm's Deep list, what happens to Azog?
He loses his dog.
He becomes dead. Um, the bottom faction in all the game apparently is pure Woses. Um,
Oh, I think that's one of our little local maps, isn't it?
it's only had 11 games.
I think they're all Henry.
Well, this is only a competitor, remember. The
Oh,
Grey Company is down here. Grey
okay.
Company worse than pure the Rangers. Um, Riders of Aomer, Army of Gothmog.
Wait, somebody took Riders of Aomer.
Yeah, they didn't do very well.
Oh,
Uh,
I wonder
you know
who
what you're
that
saying
was.
about going to an event and winning two games?
Yeah.
That's where, so 33% Riders of Aomer went to a six-game event and won two games.
Well done. If you're listening, well done. Write a comment
It
and tell us about it.
it
I'd
was
actually,
an
I'd like to.
800-point event. They won Assassination and Destroy the Supplies, and they lost Capture and Control, Divide and Conquer, Hold Ground, and Lords of Battle. There you go.
Okay. I mean, I guess you kind of have to run it at that point level just to get any lads because
Yeah,
you're being taxed to about 350 points just for Gandalf and Aomer.
right.
Yeah.
Shall we have a look at
Yes, definitely.
OMG, please nerf Broken Army in the game?
I live for this stuff. Let's go.
Okay. A little too strong. Army of Lake Town, 72%.
Unbelievable.
Get it in the bin. I
just
don't. I love it.
okay,
It's my
okay,
crutch. I can't
okay.
win games without it.
Tom,
Yeah.
tell us if you were given the job of head designer for MESBG,
Hmm.
and you were tasked with, okay, Tom, we need to fix Lake Town. It's getting a bit silly. How
Hmm.
would you fix it? Where it's what would you do to get that win percentage down to let's be reasonable, down to 60%.
Okay, so the things that make Army of Lake Town so strong is the might battery that it has, and then the sheer amount of lads that it has.
Mhm.
So you can tackle those things. Um, the first one is to take. I mean, the obvious one is to take Braga and throw him in the bin. Um, he's just so good. Um,
I mean,
no,
he's Ale the Young.
realistically, he has no right being able to do three heroics on a four up. Anyone who thought that was a thing that he deserved from his from Bard screwing his wife in the films, which is basically the only bit of screen time I think he has, is when it's everyone knows where your wife lives, right? Or something along those lines. I haven't seen The Hobbit for a good couple of months, but from what I remember, that's the only thing that happens. Is Bard says, "Yeah, we all know where your wife is, hey, let's," or something along those lines. Um, and for
uh,
that, you get that in the book, in the rule book. Bard and Braga can't do heroics together because Bard's banging Braga's wife. Fact. But why does Braga get heroics on a four up? It's not fair. Yeah. So
thing is, even if you took away the free heroics, given the sort of Alfred stuff, Braga is still a free my hero. You can still do the master stuff. It just feels like it would still be a super efficient engine, but it's just like someone. It's like that scene in Braveheart where all the Scots like lift up their kilts and just start waving it about. That's what it's like when you win when Lake Town wins a heroic move up against you. You think, oh, by the way, mate, it's free.
so
Uh,
the my views on it as someone who uses it fairly often as well is so it all stems back to one major thing with me. Well, obviously the Braga is an issue. We know this. But as an overriding thing with that profile, and it's a thing that comes up repeatedly the more you look into MESBG. Fight values being 1 to 10 is archaic and outdated. A Survivor Lake Down is fight 2. They're not very good. They're the same fight as goblins. Probably accurate. Survivors of Lake Town are not very good at fighting. So, well, I need to have an army at Lake Town, and they need to be slightly better than the survivors because they're the army. So let's make them fight free. And then, well, what can we give the master to like make him do something? He buffs the troops a bit. Like he's got a couple of one-time things where he can, it's payday. They're extra motivated. They're doing their master bidding. Cool. So we're going to buff their fight up. Well, now they're fight 4. Now they're a ranger of Gondor, and that's when it gets silly. But if you made the fight values like 1 to 20,
mhm.
and you've got a survivor Lake Town can now be fight value 3 because he's slightly better than a goblin. Let's be real, because they always say they count mass and stuff into fight value. Like a troll is fight 6 because it's big,
Yeah.
right? That's so a human is probably slightly bigger than a goblin. Like I reckon I could take on a goblin, but I'll just
It's
grab it.
yeah, it's a thing where you want like trains, you want like Gondor trained soldiery, like a warrior of Minas Tirith is not the same fight as like a Hobbit sheriff.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that,
no, because actually a hobbit sheriff is what fight value?
one of the Hobbit warriors
Fight
is
4 if you pay it.
sorry, what?
Fight 4 sheriffs, you pay them, mate.
I haven't played Shire, but that's what I mean. It's just that
If you
bit
pay
silly.
them, if you pay them enough, they're fight 4 for the same reason. A normal hobbit is fight 2, so a sheriff is better, so he's fight 3. Then you buff him, he's now fight 4. Now he's a fountain court guard.
Yeah, you may be on something here.
However, if they start off at 2, you make them 3 and you make them 4, but it's essentially a 2.5, then a 3, then you're gonna have your fountain court in at like 5, and they're better still, and then you can have your elves in at like 8, and then your trolls can be like 11, and then your like Balrog can be fight 20 if you wanted to be, and then it also makes like you get less of this. Oh, I'm gonna run into you and I'm gonna strike. Oh, cool, I'm gonna strike too. Oh, we'll both fight 10. Roll off. Like your striking matters more then. Um, but anyway,
Yeah,
that's my rant on fight value.
no, fair enough. Fair enough. I like it.
Yeah,
But yeah, Braga can get in a bit.
Braga, yeah. On a serious level, you could make Alfred not be able to take troops. Um, that's only going to come in at like a 40-point sting because then you just take a captain. And arguably, Alfred's better if he's in the warband because he um doesn't get maelstroms, which always sucks. But by being a 40-point, like it's 40 points less dudes, that's everyone's like, oh, it's only 40 points. That's 8 blokes.
No, that's big. And it is those differences that need to be looked
People
at.
say make the master into a fortitude, but then you can't really ally them at all, and that just kills it completely, and that just feels
But
too harsh.
okay, but then like the reason you can't ally it, if you look at the kind of allies that are happening, I'm not saying that a theme should be the overarching villain, the overarching reason for rules changes, but going you can't ally. Oh no, the master can't ally with Galadriel anymore,
Well,
and
yes,
like
but we all know the allies matrix needs to be exploded and rebuilt. Done.
um,
That's
I mean, the one that I mean is also that thing of historical and convenient allies. Those are not mutually exclusive things. So this whole thing about Franchill's Halls and like Iron Hills being historical allies, that is literally the definition of convenient allies. They were fighting each other, and then as a matter of convenience, they thought, "Hang on, maybe fighting together against the big scary orc horde is a good idea." So this whole of them being green allies and they fuck each other and they get each other's banners, ridiculous.
and
So
yet
yes,
isn't like LSR and Feydred historical allies,
I believe this is also a thing. Yes,
but he's dead.
yes.
Spoilers if you haven't read the book. But you know what? Like, yeah, there's lots of stuff that you can do. And yeah, if you they shouldn't be convenient allies with as many things as they are. That's just the issue there. Um, if you make him fortitude, that are it doesn't make sense. Like it just doesn't make because then he doesn't have to be the leader.
I think it's more that I actually don't mind like playing against pure Lake Town up till like from like 450 to like 600 is actually fine. Like I know what it does, but it has clear glaring weaknesses. Like your combat beat stick is Braga. So in a 6 game event, I'm absolutely fine with that happening. It's more that because of all the yellow allies, you can just cover every weakness so easily,
And
and because it's such an efficient engine.
in the immortal words of Mr. J. Clare, well, we made it balanced, and then you idiots started playing the game at the wrong points level, and now it's not balanced. Direct quote from his talk about Rangers of Aphelion. It was balanced, and then you started playing games at 450, and of course now it's not balanced, you idiots.
I mean, I agree with Jay. That is the wrong point though. But yeah,
Fell Beings is really strong, 69%. We I think this is known. Um, it's a really good Legion. Spider Queen is good.
but I also think that it's not one of those lists that people particularly mind playing against because the Spider Queen is quite a cool interactive piece.
Yes.
It's obviously strong, but once you know like what the Bruticus can do, you need to account for their movement. You can think about brutal power attacks, but she's low defense. If you can maneuver like a heroic combat into her with a 5/6 hero or get a strike into her, she can go down. And it's not like she gives huge buffs to the other troops. Razgush is a I actually adore the Raskus profile as well. Because he's only 5'5", only strength 4, but he's D7. He's 3 attacks. He's 3 might. Like, he's actually a fantastic tank. Um, and those two pieces in conjunction, they're good interactive get stuck in pieces. So
It's not sexy, but it's good.
yeah,
And I think that's why. So if you look at the again, I haven't put it on there, but the number of games is they're both only just scraped by so Lake Town and Fell Beings have both only just scraped the 40%, the 40 game threshold.
okay.
In fact, it was going to be 50, and then I saw those two and bumped it up, bumped it down to 40 because I felt they had to be in. But yeah, in comparison to things we looked at earlier, it was like Assault and Loft at 150 or whatever it was. Fell Beings only being 40 games is yeah. The Mahood having just an absolute glorious time, 60% win rate on like over 100 games.
This is just like Dewey and Chippenham and Aaron Pullen just having a cracking time.
Well, they just run through Lake Town and goblins and things and win on fours and just have a cracking time. I think is the main reason for their success at the moment. They just they slap through stuff and people haven't seen camels in so long. Now camels exist. Everyone's going, oh bloody hell, camels.
Yeah, I mean the kind of direct counter it is kind of the win move offs
Or
and
shoot it.
yes, and I'm amazed that that hasn't happened enough. If you look at some of these lists up here, how is it not getting shot to pieces? Because even
So my tinfoil hat theory is that because Assault on Loth exists, people aren't taking bow heavy lists much these days because Assault on Loth scares them into not shooting at them. So oh well, it's like I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but a couple of years ago, there was a big thing with Lady of Light being pinged into every single good list that existed.
I was around.
Um, because she has permanent blinding light. And she can just give everything like she just walks around and like goes up to your horse on Boromir and goes, you now have protection from magic, or whatever it is. Resist to magic. And she just goes around going bam, 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 resist to magic everywhere. You spend the first couple of turns going, right, getting the blinding light up, getting my terror up, and getting my like resist to magic up, and bam, 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 and I'm like making sure we're ready to go. Right, should we go forward, lads? And she was a great little piece for that. And people kind of just going, I'm so sick of playing against blinding light of some sort or like shadow lords and things. Like I'm just going to stop bringing shooting, because it was the range of affiliates' fault. Because everyone was like, shooting's so strong, everyone's going to bring anti-shooting, bringing shooting like, and then bringing our list that usually got ripped apart by shooting became good because people weren't bringing shooting because people were. It was like a whole kind of yeah. That's my little tinfoil hat theory. Is that
Okay.
I'm not playing against too many bow spam lists apart from locally where I'm playing into Harrod all the time and things like that, and Harrod and Azog's Hunters and stuff, which just happen to have all bows by accident anyway. um, yeah, that's my theory.
Okay.
Farhad is also fight free, so there's that.
There's a reasonable amount of fight three here though.
There is.
Not loads, but like enough.
I've got a tinfoil hat theory about that.
Oh, fantastic! Here we go.
The host of the Dragon Emperor is big and popular at the moment. Bears are big and popular at the moment. These two things outfight you, unless you're elves, which became semi-popular for a bit. This also outfights you. Why pay points for fight 4 when you can be fight 3
Or fight two.
or fight 2?
Yeah, no, it made it the second best. The second best thing against fight 5 is fight 2.
also my tinfoil hat theory.
That's
So,
three.
so yeah, Dragon Emperor's on here. We all know it's good. It does good stuff. Um,
I don't.
it's
I don't want to talk about the Dragon Emperor. No, it's again. It's just one of those. It's not like resource efficient like Lake Town is. It's just we're hard to kill. We win all the fights. We're also really quick. So we're where we need to be. We're very hard to shift from where we are. Good luck.
yeah.
Yeah.
The when it came out, we looked at it in the book and went, "That's strong." You
Yeah.
didn't even need to see it on the table.
We looked at the points value of the Emperor and went, "That's strong."
Yeah.
Did
It
you
was like because they told us what it was going to do before they told us how many points it was going to be.
did you watch the Australians and all that? Like, guess how many points it was going to be?
Yeah, I think we did something similar at one point,
Yeah. Not with me, but we looked at it
though,
and
before you existed.
before I was born. Um, it was. I think we were mostly guessing around like the 240, 250 mark.
They all began with two, yes.
Yeah, at least. I think we were 240, 250. We would have been okay with like 210, 220. And then we got 170, 180.
I don't even know.
Do I have the book on me? I don't have the book on me.
Okay.
I think somehow it's about 170 for reasons.
Um,
It's just crazy efficient. Like it's impossible for that list to be bad. I mean, if it can propel certain players from the Chippenham area into ETC teams, then
170.
170. If it can propel certain players from the Chippenham area into ETC teams just by giving some acolytes axes,
That's
then
look. Can we not? Because he's currently building my dwelling.
yeah, it's just really efficient. It's getting to roll all the dice in the world with a fight advantage. And it
I'm
needs.
almost impressed. It's only 63.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's some scenarios where it doesn't split up that well. Like for catching objectives, you'll tend to put like a catapult on an objective rather than putting 4 or 5 lands away.
Yes, if
Um,
you can split it up, you can deal with it. Um, but splitting up is incredibly subjective when you have a banner that covers about 25, 26 inches of a table.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's nuts.
have you done the maths yet, by the way, on the percentage of table that is covered by that banner?
No, but I can.
Okay, by the time we come back, I would like you to have worked out the percentage area of a table that is covered by a 12-inch banner from a whatever radius is base is.
Um,
Um,
it's about 20%. My opening bid is about 20%.
80 millimeter base.
Okay. Are we really going to start doing pi r squared in our podcast? 14 squares. No, this is tragic.
That's 3 inches roughly.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, I think it's about 20 times the table.
So yeah, 27 inches from base, 12, 12.
I mean, super, super, super rough. If it's 13 squared, 169. Triple it for pi. Nearest damn it. That's nearest damn it 500 square inches. A table is nearest damn it 2,500 square inches. It's about 20% of the board.
That is data you don't get anywhere else, boys.
Um,
If you weren't thinking of doing it before, don't forget to like and subscribe.
and I will post if you like maths, I will post the actual number in the comments below.
If you can please comment saying
better,
I like maths.
Better than that, if you comment I like maths and put down your guess, whoever guesses the closest, I will give a Freddo to the next time I see you. Whoever gets the closest to the actual answer.
5 sig figs?
No, we'll keep it to EdXLI GCSE, and 3 significant figures will do.
Mate, I went to uni to do engineering and they said 2 sig figs. I was like, what? This is great. No more
Um,
maths for me. Let's just
this
roughly estimate everything.
this really is content that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
Um,
A short and helps deep.
yeah, that's rubbish, but allow it. Move on.
I've
I've heard
actually,
it's
I,
I've
I've
heard it's
actually,
terrible now because
I've
no one
actually,
good's using it.
I'm taking it to my next GBHL 100.
It's broken, but look, it's broken. It's 62%. Do you know what it really kills really well?
Host of Dragon Emperor.
Lake Town.
Well, no, because Lake Town's always got blinding light. Which is
What a
a sentence.
statement.
It's a horrible statement, but it's true. It's in fairness, it's really if you look at the list, it's really good against fell beings. Because it can just like is the Spider Queen zero fate or one fate or something?
What one fate was it? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good against fell beings. It's really good against Harad, by and large. Yeah, it definitely is. Brilliant against Dragon Emperor. Um, Bears is a weird maths thing, but it's not bad. Goblin Town is kind of
But
funny.
we like maths.
Um, in 5 minutes, we'll do more maths in 5 minutes. But I guess it is still fun. If let's look at these top lists, we've got Assault on Loft,
Yeah.
which has nighttime. We have Army of Lake Town, which has blinding light. And actually, other than that, there's not that much blinding light around. So I think
It's gone.
I think that three ballistas is really good and fun. It's also really fun and interactive. And I would encourage anyone who wants to make friends at GBHL events to bring at least three ballistas. So
But
that
Erebor
yes,
reclaimed 62% win rate. How many of those games is it taken as an ally in?
115%, all of them.
No, incorrect.
Is it above 80%?
43 games of the 62. Wait, yeah, 62 games, 43. It's got a 62% win rate in 62 games. Lads. Um, no, because Kalman exists.
Oh, okay.
So he takes Champions of Erebor, doesn't he? And has a lovely time.
And it's very good. I personally have been pasted by Calvin. Yeah, I tried to shoot them. It didn't work very
No, well, they're low to the ground, aren't they?
well.
Natural
Um,
sprinters, I heard.
yes. Okay, but okay. Defend champions of Erebor aside, and I don't think we can check that. A lot of the time that will be a O and Thorin, or maybe O and Dwalin. Lobbed into I don't know Lake Town.
Lothlorien, Halls of Thranduil, White Council, Lake Town, Iron Hills. I mean, let's be honest, Lothlorien, White Council, Lake Town, they're all the same list. So yeah, it might even be a greater percentage that's taken pure because it factors in all those. But yeah. Yeah. Bears, 59%. Bears are good, but again, I think there's too many people pick it up because I think it's going to be easy wins now.
Yes. Um, Bears. I agree. We have said things about Bears in the past. I sincerely hope that we do not need to speak about Bears.
Well, what makes Bears strong? But no, I'm not going to let you
Um,
talk about Bears. Bears are good. If you're not very good with Bears, they're okay. If you're really good with Bears, they're really good. But you have to be good with Bears. If you're bad with Bears, they're okay. If you're bad with Bears, you'll get one or two wins.
if you'd like that statement on a T-shirt, please also leave a comment, and I will happily get that made for you. But yeah, that is all. That is all
They are
true.
like I can't remember the phrase. They used to have a lovely phrase for it, but basically, um, if you would normally have a 25% win rate and you start using Bears, you now have a 50% win rate. and so on. Basically, that's how I view bears. Goblin Town, see above, but for different reasons. If you pick up Goblin Town, take it to a 4-game local event, you'll go 2-2 without really having to turn your brain on. To
It's a load of
go 3-1 or to go 4-0 takes a combination of luck and skill. To go 6-0 or 7-0 may be blessed by the matchup gods. Because it is possible to win Lords of Battle with Goblin Town. I can vouch.
So
I have pulled it off at
this
least once.
this came up on an unexpected podcast recently, where they it was one of the Italian guys at Alessandro
Okay.
was saying how the matchups like that, where people it's counterintuitive, but things like Assault on Helm's Deep being really good at recon.
Yes.
It's I've never lost a game of recon. It's brilliant. And he went, Goblin Town is actually Lord Battle isn't that bad. Because presumably you can still kill stuff reasonably well, and as long as you don't get doubled, it's really hard to break you. You'll likely break from opponents, and you have the tools to kill their leader, so you win.
Yes. People get really cocky against Goblin Town on Lords of Battle, and they do silly things, and then you can beat it.
Yeah,
Um,
I happily believe it.
yeah, it's quite possible to do things like set up traps, lead people astray, like put bait over here, so you leave your king exposed, and then people jump on the king, but then you can get a kill golem and stuff into it. Like, there's ways to do it. Yeah, numbers is good. Assault on Loft is good at the game. Again though, Assault on Loft, you must be good to use Assault on Loft.
There is definitely
Well,
there's definitely a trend emerging of some non-top players picking up Assault on Loft and really not knowing how to maximize it.
you will still go 2-2 or 3-1. For like
I think
I'm
so.
just using the
I think the novice players will pick will well not even like moderately novice players will pick this up and wonder why they didn't win a game. I think
to
if you
not
can,
win a game would be impressive.
it's
I think
it's not forgiving. It's really
it's
really
really
not that.
unforgiving.
Yeah,
It's what makes the Emperor so good is because you can basically plonk some blokes down and go, they're in the wrong place. Oh well, I'll just march over here.
yeah.
And bang my drum. Bum bum bum. Whereas yes, Assault on Loft, if you're in the wrong place, you are pooped. If you miss time your charging and stuff into there, you are pooped. If you throw the bat in and overexpose it, you are pooped. That kind of thing all exists. So yeah, I think in the hands of the right person, it's probably closer to 70-80% win rate. In
I
the
agree.
hands of the wrong person, it's probably closer to 30.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
It reflects players. It's a really hard discrimination for player skill.
a skill magnifier rather than a skill escalator like the Bears.
T-shirts are coming for that one as well.
Serpent Horde is making its sexy comeback.
Yeah, this is what you're saying about like pre-legendary legions. This was one of the really good lists, and now you're going back and going, oh, it's still really good because it has loads of bows and loads of fight for lads, and it's kind of killy,
I took
like
a
really killy.
fairly unoptimized Serpent Horde list to my first ever decent sized event, which was a GBHL event. I didn't know at the time, but it was a GBHL event in Bristol at least 2 years pre-COVID. Like we're talking a chunk of time ago. I didn't even know GBHL existed at the time. I went 2-2. I had 2 Hasharin in my list, a Harrod King, and a Betrayer on foot.
That sounds wonderful. I'm so happy for you.
It was such a. I didn't have a single Bracken guard.
You don't actually need them. Like it's one of this where like if you if you hit also maths, if the betrayer is up, if you are shooting into defense 4 or in combat against defense 5, the reroll is better than +1 to wound. It's
Maths.
really killy. Yeah, maths. It's really killy. And there's a
Oh,
load of defense 5 stuff around. So it's really killy.
who knew?
Yeah. Yeah. Cracking content.
I love how smiley you are with yourself. Like, yeah, I got to do maths and percentages today, Dad. Defenders Hells Deep. That's crap. Move on.
I actually, without any shame, I take quite a lot of credit for this. Mostly for the number of games played. I think this is was the GT played on Longshanks as well? No, because I know that Calvin played Defenders at GT. I think
Oh,
this is
the
almost
Warhammer World one. No.
yeah. So this is basically entirely me and Dan Garside.
So
I
at
think.
500 points, which I would say is yourself and Garside, there's only 20 games at 500 points. So the local league of ours, 5 games. The at least one event, 2 events of ours.
Yes, there was your 90 and the smell
The
prelim.
league kickoff. So that's 8 games from you and 4 from Garside. So that's 12. So that's 17. 17 of his 20 games are you and Dan Garside. Science. And Dan's actually brought it to another one, so that's probably closer to 20. Yeah.
And I took it at 550. I took it to 550. I took it to Nobody Tosses the Dwarf. So yeah,
Okay.
this is all me and Garside.
So, well, no, at 500, 550 it is. So at 500, what's your win percentage?
Mine personally,
No, the 2 of you combined.
uh, probably higher. Just combined like 70,
60.
60. Okay.
Humble yourself, King. At 600, where you haven't played it on
I
a
haven't
competitive event,
I haven't played one game with it.
what is it? Win percent?
Now like 4,
50.
23, 50.
50.
Okay.
At 800,
Hang on. Is that me? Yes. I won 50.
what?
50%?
63.
What was the other 800-point event that somebody was?
I can't tell you that information, I'm afraid.
I know. I really. This. I. Is it our magic man from Canada who's just crushing an 800-point event
No,
over the
because he
top?
uses elves. But, you know,
Again, can somebody please let us know what was the fell winter? No, it wasn't the fell winter. What was the other 800-point event?
well, it's a mystery.
Because I was the only person running defenders at Gondolin and I won 3 games.
Yeah, I don't have information
That is
for
a
you, I'm
mystery.
afraid. Yeah,
Instead, the list does
but
escalate well, and it's got a lot of it's got the tools to do quite well against a fair few of these lists. Um, but I think this again largely this could just be a couple of people just deciding that this is going to be the list that they play this year, and then just sun running their way through a couple of events, which is definitely what I've done this year.
Gondolin?
Well, no, I did not sunrun. I did not sunrun my way through Gondolin. I won 3, drew 1, lost 2, but I've gone 4-0 2 events with defenders this year.
Okay, Gondolin was me saying 800 points, by the way. That was
Yeah. Gondolin was 800. I
okay.
just have no idea what the other 800-point event was.
Okay, well, still, there you go, defenders.
Please tell me in the comments because that's going to keep me awake all night.
And it's funny
So
because I know
please tell
Bert and it
me.
actually will. I will get a text from him at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, at
Found
event
it.
name, saying fell winter back in January or something.
No, that was 750.
See? He's a rain man.
Yeah.
At 750, it played 5 games and has a 20% win rate. Um, anyway, so that's that. That's our kind of Metawatch. When Games Workshop do it, they do it really really slickly and cleanly. It takes like 20 minutes. Now Middle Earth has way more factions to try and juggle. But basically, what we're saying is things what is too good. Lake Town, everything from Defense of the North. Apart from sorry, no, everything from the evil side of Defense of the North. The assault on the North.
uh, yeah, it was.
Anything with assault or defenders in the name of it.
Oh yeah, no one's playing Dale in the UK. Sean was also. I'm so sorry, but no one likes Dale over here apparently.
Dale in the bin. No, well, Lee was playing Dale for a bit, and then yeah. Things that need help. Dwarfs. Just, just dwarfs.
Yeah, if you look at some of them, it's just again, if you're looking at like tools in a toolbox, dwarves is that thing of their big thing was high defense, and now everything goes +1 to wound. I don't care. So now there's dwarves going. I I used to be hard to kill. I'm now slow. I'm not that hard to kill.
The
Um,
the Garrison of Dale has a 4 game like submitted on here. 4 games. The Garrison of Dale.
but again, that's one of those I would say fairly one-dimensional
Defenders of Erebor
shooting
has
of.
14.
I think that list has potential.
That's
I
so diddly.
yeah. I think he is right. I think those like banner effects, big spear support,
Yeah.
hard to
It's
kill, good shooting. No, it's
all
tough.
of the things we just said to about dwarfs, banner
Yeah,
effects,
yeah,
bow support and stuff, spear supports.
spear, yeah.
Yeah, all of those things we just said about dwarfs.
So
That's
the
that list has it.
yeah, so the best dwarf list is the one which is only half dwarfs.
Yes, 100%. And then all of these are lovely balanced factions having a great time.
Yeah.
Um, ooh,
What I did find interesting is I was actually ready for there to be some real outliers in terms of like faction, like big surprises, purely based on like a particular very good player playing an odd list. Like I'd love to, if someone like Will Champion just decides that in 2024 he's going to make Paths of the Druiden broken, and in a year's time we could be here going, "Oh my god, Paths of Druiden, 80% win rate." But we actually don't have that. Then the closest, I honestly, that the closest, actually, in all honesty, I'd say the biggest outlier on this little bit too strong. I would say possibly Farharad, but in the meta it makes sense. I would say Defender of Helm's Deep is actually the only real outlier on that list. Because if you said before this year started that Defender of Helm's Deep was going to be one of the like top 10, 15 lists of the year, you'd have gone why?
because it's 5 3 might battery, lots of good shooting, and loads of spear support and throwing weapon close range, skirmishy, dead.
Yeah, but it wasn't the list anyone was talking about
No,
in
because
like November,
it's not
December.
sexy, but it's always been good and efficient.
Yeah,
But it's another one of these ones where it's not sexy. No one likes no one likes playing against it. And well, they don't, do they? How many games do you play with Defenders of Helm's Deep where I'm loath to say don't move a model, but
I would say that that happens fairly rarely.
you know what I mean. You kind of like sit there and go, "Come on, then, I'm going to shoot you now, and now you're dead."
It actually requires like
Hardy hard.
it requires very specific matchups for that to actually be how the game goes. Like playing against Imogen's fellow beings of Mirkwood. This was we saw the matchup. I apologized and went, we're playing Doors of Battle. I am going to camp at the back of the board. I'm going to shoot the living crap out of you. There is no reason for me not to do this. But I'd say in a good 70, 80% of games, I'm actually exercising more the Might Battery and Fight 5 more than I'm the cap on the back of the board.
If anyone wants to know, that was fishing with Tom. We just caught a big one.
It's so every time. It's so easy.
Ooh, a bite.
Oh,
Ah, good times. Good times. Because every time you nibble on that, and it makes me happy. Um,
oh.
so yeah, let's wrap things up there, I think. We've gone over an hour. We're all good.
Yeah.
If you want us to see us do this again in for the next kind of 4 month chunk, let us know. That'll be what, April to August. And then we've got the summer's busy, man, as well. So
There is so many events for the summer. I can't. Well, I think I'm going to like 300s, 190, hosting a 90. Yeah,
also, Bert said in the UK, this obviously factors in any event you run anywhere in the world. So there's a few Canadian ones in there, a few Czech ones in there that pop up at the moment. There was a little spring of like ones in the Ukraine for a bit. That was quite exciting. In there or South Africa or somewhere, like there's all kinds of fun little places popping up that are having like little events. So I genuinely, if you have a scene somewhere and you don't already have like an established website to use, and I don't get paid by them. In fact, I actually pay Longshanks to use their services. You don't have to; it's free. But if you pay, you get like access to more stuff. It's only like £1 a month, so it's stupid. But yeah, it's free to use. You can set up your event. It will follow the standard 3-1-0 match play guide setup, unless you ask it not to, and then it won't. You can give out bonus points for stuff if you want to do secret missions and things. Yeah,
it
it'll
gives
just do
it,
everything for
it
you.
gives us more to talk about. The more games you lot play on Longshanks, the more things Bert and Tom can talk about.
And it has, from a personal point of view, or things that like we've done. One of the really nice things is you can track your own games because you can log them as casual games. So it was really nice being able to show one of our like local guys um his it tracks like all your things saying I'm going to find it for you because it's lovely to see. um I'm just going to like out him publicly as well because it do be like that sometimes. So we've got a lovely local lad called Ben, just won his first event. Yay, Ben. Ben's
Well,
only been
Ben,
playing Middle Earth for a little while, but if you go on here and you go onto his statistics, because I can see these things, and you go to win record. Oh, that's not win record over time. Ah, Bert. Um, fill in there. I need to press that button. You can see. Look, you get goods. If you use an army, you get better at it. Science. And that's just how science works. It'll also tell you like what scenarios you're bad at and things like that.
you
So
got like the community stats as well, and how often you play certain scenarios.
yeah, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. If people, again, if everyone sets up their little communities on it, you can set up a little crew, add everyone in. It tracks your like local stats in your community, tracks who's playing games, what games you're playing, and also if you come to events, we can press a button that says avoid friends in the first round, and then you don't get paired against someone you turned up with.
Oh,
So that's a button you can press at a bigger event, which is great. I think, anyway, I think it's nice and fun. Go to a 7-day event. How many times do you have to play against someone you play against every week in like the first round or two? But yeah. Oh, well,
yeah,
that's my
that's
sales pitch over. Um, hopefully they
uh,
give me a month free one day. Who knows?
that is an amazing final thought.
Um, but yeah, let us know in the comments if you'd like to hear more about your armies or anything. If you like maths,
Tell
and
us.
just generally,
So yeah, let's go 2 decimal places. The percentage area that the Dragon Emperor's banner covers of the table.
And on that note, I think it's about time we stopped recording. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye.